Hey, Mr. Chairman, it is incredibly challenging right now and a lot of supply and demand issues. A lot of our manufacturers here domestically are having a hard time getting labor, and that's a conversation for a different day. But the labor folks in my state say over and over again, it's an issue of the additional unemployment benefits that are there. They're having hard time getting enough labor to provide supply. But that's a different conversation for a different day. As I read through the 2021 trade agenda, a lot of things in there I like. Grateful you're engaging that. Some glaring things are missing that are a big deal in Oklahoma. Oklahomans are always looking for what new markets are we going after to be able to continue to expand our markets. I don't find a lot of conversation there about pursuing new free trade agreements, adding new countries. Is that coming in the 2022 trade agenda, or why is that not in this trade agenda?
Well, Senator Lankford, I think that the trade agenda report, there are two reports that come out. I believe that they were at the very, very beginning of my time, or may even have predated my confirmation. Just because they're not in the trade agenda report doesn't mean that issues, certainly ones that you're raising here, aren't important. And I think that with respect to agricultural market access, our work is focused on looking at creating, maintaining reliable, transparent, sustainable market access for our agricultural producers.
Great. Yeah, we're always looking for new markets. Obviously, existing markets are facing competition. We want to know there's another market that's out there they can continue to be able to pursue if other markets follow through. One of the folks that deals with steel in my state asked a very interesting question to me. His question is, he's got a lot of capital that he wants to invest into what they're doing, but they have a very hard time planning right now because they don't know what to count on the 232. Is it still going to be there for another 6 months, 6 years, 60 years? There's no way to be able to plan for the expanse for them. So give us a good idea, give him a good idea on how you're trying to be able to plan for this for the future. What happens to 232?
So I think here there are two levels to this question. One is what is going to happen to the 232 as a tool. The other one is whether or not the administration has a commitment to supporting steel production here in the United States. And let me take that second question. Yes, clearly we have a commitment to being a strong country that produces and is able to produce steel for itself. In terms of the tools and the policies, I am open to improving and perfecting the tools that we have to make them more effective.
Right. Being more predictable would be helpful in the process, and that's just people need to know how to plan. They've been there for multiple years, and they just want to be able to know how to plan. Senator Portman brought up the issue about 301 exclusions. That also continues to be a big issue. I know you're in the process of studying it. In reviewing this, can I ask you a simple when question? When can we anticipate some kind of response coming out of what the plan is? Because this is obviously not new to now. This has gone on for several years. Folks are not thinking about the reset of a new administration. They're thinking about what's happening right now and has been happening for months. When can they expect an answer?
As soon as we can, and ensure that what we are doing has been thought through and is strategic and has a clear objective. So there's a push-pull here a little bit. I know that there is a lot of desire for us to act quickly, and we definitely feel that pressure. We want to be able to act quickly and to make some of these decisions. But we're also very, very mindful of the need to not just be reactive, to not be chasing our tails, but to have a vision that we are working towards. And so we are trying to balance that to be as effective as we can.
Sooner is better than later on that. Is it December that would come out? Is that July that would come out? Is it next July? Give me a ballpark.
Oh, goodness, I think December would be way too late, right?
I would hope, yeah. So earlier is better than later on that. We'll watch for that. Intellectual property, we've already had a conversation on dealing with the vaccines. I understand we have a worldwide pandemic. I understand trying to be able to get the whole world vaccinated will be very important to be able to help global economic activity. Here's the challenge. Just giving away the intellectual property doesn't solve the problem. J&J outsourced some of its manufacturing to a location. They had the connection to it, and the manufacturing failed for the vaccine, and they throw out whole batches with millions of doses that are there. So just giving away intellectual property doesn't solve the issue if the manufacturing doesn't have good oversight. We also have other vaccines that are coming on the market like right now, like malaria. That's what we'd be talking about if we weren't talking about the COVID vaccine, is finally a good malaria vaccine coming on the market. That's also a global issue, and the concern is for cancer, for Alzheimer's research, for Parkinson's, for so many issues that are out there. If every pharmaceutical company suddenly gets a pause in investment thinking, I'm going to get a breakthrough, but now the intellectual property is going to be given away because it's also a global issue, that becomes a challenge of getting future investment. So what I'm trying to figure out is twofold here. How do we protect the integrity of the vaccine as it goes out? That's typically done with good oversight in the generic market or whatever it may be, rather than just giving away the formula. We lose that ability to be able to have good oversight on it. So we may not have good batches coming out, as we've already seen. Or how do we make sure that we're still continuing to protect future innovation here for vaccines like malaria that's coming on the market right now? Is there any assurance from the administration they're not going to also give the intellectual property rights away for that?
Oh, well, Senator Lankford, let me just say that the questions that you're asking are absolutely critical questions. They're really important questions. They're ones that I've discussed with the heads of all of the manufacturers who are manufacturing or soon will be manufacturing for the U.S. market. Over the course of April, I think I had over a dozen consultations that I provided transparent readouts of. So that's all to say that I know how important this issue is. I know what the stakes are in terms of a global economic recovery and also in terms of the system of intellectual property protections. And I look forward to continuing this conversation with you because it is so important for us to get this right. And it's so important for us to be able to show that the WTO can produce results that are effective and relevant to people's lives.
Thank you, Senator Lankford.